Hello everyone and welcome back along to the channel and welcome along to what will be one of the final subscriber series videos for season number 1. That is right, there's just a couple of episodes left and today, as you'll all know if you've been tuning into the series, it is time for the team of the season. That's right, the very best 23 players, that's right, I've even named subs for the special team as well. We'll be taking part in a special match to signal the end of Season 1 as well. They'll be taking on a selected World 15 side in the coming days, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If you're new around to the channel, however, and you don't know what I'm really talking about, it is the subscriber series, a chance where you guys can take the field and take on the very best around the world. If you ever missed out what's happened, here's a little quick peek at what happened in the grand final between two of our subscriber sides. The Cornflakers were at home in the grand final up against the Guardians of the Crib. Alright, so as you all know, these matches between the subscriber sides always AI controlled. We've got the Guardians of the Crib in the red. They are kicking off the Flakers in the blue and white. Underway we are, and it's Tony Cesaro with an early touch for the Flakers. Fairyland, who has blown over the top, and it's ball to the Guardians. They could do something special. Whitten goes inside now. Oh, what a pass! His fire will be over, and it's a try already. The Guardians are in. What a start! It's Owen Richards off the inside pass from Callum Whitten. What a start once again from the Guardians. 3 minutes in and they could be up 7-0. David Sloan, he has got another one. Poulter. Wide for Brett. Great offload. Cesaro again. Wide ball. And Naleki Solomon to the corner. He balled us. Oh, high tackle. Luca Neo's rally stopped the try, but his teammate paid the price. Yellow card for the fullback. What a turnaround, and look at the Flakers. They've gone for the 3 points. And why not when you have one of the best 10s in the game, Jonathan Craning, 6 most points of the season. He's going to add another 3. He just does not miss. Poulter, great offload again for Craning down the centre of the park. It's Tony Cesaro chasing. Interesting kick this. It's banging for Stone, who is wrapped up. How did he stay in the field of play? I don't believe he is. The ball is just, but look at the Flakers. Oh, the Flakers. They've turned it over. Stone has made an error. Shot ball, Eddington over the top. Jameli Shano's done it. The Flakers strike back. What a turnaround. 4th equal for tries. Jonathan Craning ticks up another 2. It's 10-7. The Flakers over the Guardians. Sam Halliday throws in to the back. Curitan pulls this one nicely. Finds room out there. And it's a great pass. Finding Solomon, who gets a beautiful ball off to Eddington. Eddington's still got Malpass. Probably can't keep touch with him. He goes for the skies. Running back's Pierre Valentine. Has he got the speed and support? And it's Malpass. Great tackle. Heston Gardner wrapped up from his opposite centre. Tony Cesaro. Turnover ball. Here's Poulter. Poulter still going. Beautiful pass. McDonald. And McDonald scores. What a crucial try that could be. 7-0 it was to the Guardians at halftime. 8 minutes remaining. It's going to be 17-7. The Flakers with the lead. But he's put down a good tackle from Jameli Gino. Looked dangerous. A lot of space out there. Great pass. Here's a real chance. It's Heston Gardner. It's 1-on-1. Can he beat the defense of Heikkinen? No. No way he can. Numbers coming in red though. 1 minute to go. Calvert looks out for Owen Richards, who got the early start off. Here's Mike Hunt. What a play from him. Waller over the top he goes. David Stone. He'll put one right on the buzzer. Could have been the difference. And the ultimate thinks it won't matter. The Flakers will do it. But what a tenacious effort from the Guardians of the Crib. Unfortunately, it did not go down to that try, and it won't go down to this kick from David Stone, who converts his own try. Well, we spoke about it at the time, but the penalty to Jonathan Craning will be the winning of the game for the Flakers. That was an absolute cracking match as well, a worthy final for what was an absolute fantastic subscriber series season number 1. Now, as you all know, throughout the whole season, we've been following more than just the best players. we've been following the players that scored the most points, players that scored the most tries, also the top tacklers, and the top running meters as well from our 3 subscriber sides. That's right, the All Flakes, the Cornflakers, and the Guardians of the Crib. So before we get into the top 23 players from throughout the season, let's first off have a look at the players, the top 3, who topped those categories from season number 1. Alright, so for this segment, we're going to be having a look at the top 3 players from each of those categories and who have topped them all and become the star players in these areas. So we'll kick things off with the most meters run, and this is going to, well, 3 players who have really starred throughout the competition, and in an area that I thought that some other players may come to the forefront, some outside backs, for instance, that might have really stormed in this one. But in the end, it has gone to 2 fly halves and a centre. So we're going to kick things off with a player who got in 3rd position, and that is going to Mitchell Otley of the All Flakes. He cleaned up a tidy 696 running meters throughout his season. He was a top performer, and he is a name that you may well be seeing later on in this episode. Coming in number 2, that one goes to Jonathan Craneen. Now, if you've followed this series throughout the year, you'll know Jonathan Craneen was the big star of all these sides. From the Cornflakers, he amassed a huge total of 829 running meters. So he takes the silver medal, as you can see, but there's only one man that can take gold, and that's, maybe surprisingly, it did surprise me somewhat, number 1 goes to Braden Rudman. Now, another man from the All Flakes, and really, given the amount of awards that these All Flake players rack up throughout this whole episode, it's a surprise that they didn't do better than their semi-final finish. But Braden messed up a huge total of 897 running meters. He takes number 1 spot for the running meters of Season 1 in the subscriber series. So we move on from that, and in the Global Rugby Challenge, we had the top tacklers as well. So we're going to go with our top 3 here, and this is really where the forwards stood up, and especially, kind of surprisingly, the second rowers. This is where they really excelled in the department of defence and tackling. So starting things off, 3rd spot will go to Liam Robinson, also of the All Flakes. He amassed a total of 51 successful tackles throughout the season. He just about led the way throughout, but there was 2 men who stood head and shoulders above him. Again, we keep things in the 2nd row for number 2, and that one goes to Ian McDonald from the Cornflakers, who totaled 54 successful tackles. So only pipping Robinson by 3 tackles, but he still gets the silver medal spot. And way ahead of those 2 guys. I mean, this top spot was streaks ahead. And it goes to Tip Top from the All Flakes. A total of 63 tackles made. That is successful tackles. And you can see a big lead of 9 tackles over 2nd spot. Top was well and truly the defensive rock through the All Flakes team. And when you look at those 2 categories for a start off, that 6 people are in there, and 4 of them are from the All Flakes, 2 from the Flakers, the eventual winners, but no one from the Guardians of the Crib, even in those top 6 from those 2 categories, 3 each for meters ran and tackles made. Amazing that the 2nd best team in the tournament didn't feature for 2 really crucial categories to start off our awards. It's all well and good, though, to have a really good defence and a really good running game, but what matters most is scoring tries and putting points on the scoreboard. And these following 2 categories, the most tries and the most points, are where these players excelled. Starting off with the most tries throughout the season, we kick things off with our 3rd position. Coming in from the Flakers with 7 tries to his name, that is Aiden Adeleke Solomon, picking up great tries throughout the year, and he actually totaled very high as well on the overall leaderboard for tries scored. Coming in number 2 is the man we've already mentioned here already, Mitchell Otley, with 9 tries to his name from the All Flakes. He takes spot number 2, the silver medal once again for Mitchell Otley to go with his bronze that he picked up for running meters. But there's only one man to take the number 1 spot, and that is gold, gold, gold for Jim Alligino. A late bloomer, come on very late into the season after spending a lot of time at number 8 and in the back row. He got a chance out on the left wing, and I think from memory scored 7 tries or 6 tries in his first couple of matches in that position, which just absolutely catapulted him sky high to that number 1 spot. Again, from the Flakers, the winning team as well. It is Jim Alligino, number 1 when it comes to tries scored. Following that on, we have the real category for the goal kickers in the competition, and that is the most points scored. Unsurprisingly, 2 fly halves and a kicking centre/fullback make up these roles. It's all to do with the conversions, penalties, and the ability to score tries at the same time. Now, this is a category that often had a lot of gaps between the top team, or the top player, I should say, and the rest of the players. And one man separated himself quite well, but the lead very, very slowly but surely disintegrated to a really tight finish at the end. Who took number 1? We will find out right now. First, though, coming in 3rd position is Douglas Eddington. Coming in from the Corn Flakers, he's picked up 66 points throughout his time in a Flakers jumper. A good performance considering he wasn't the first choice goal kicker in this team, and you can even say he probably wasn't even the second choice goal kicker. He was very much a full and roll, scored a lot of tries as well, and the main thing was he got the chances and the points when the opportunities come for him. Alright, coming in at number 2 is the fly half. The first fly half of 2. It is Braden Rudman. Now, we mentioned Braden Rudman already for the meters gained, so we know he can score from range. He attacks very well, makes the initial line breaks, but he also finished a lot of try scoring opportunities and was very good kicking off the tee as well. He finished the season with 70 points to his name. A very good tally for the man from the All Flakes who led both these categories now with just 1 man to go. Another silver medal for Rudman. He goes along with his gold medal, and you got to say the All Flakes have been represented very, very well here. The Flakers even, you'd say these 2 sides should be the ones competing for the final, but they weren't. The Guardians still, with 1 name still to go, there has been no Guardians players whatsoever. What is going on here? I don't understand, but the stats, they do not lie, and you cannot question why the All Flakes and the Flakers did so well, but there's one team that did better than all the rest, and it was mainly due to this man from the Corn Flakers, fly half, scoring extraordinaire. It is Jonathan Craneen. 73 points to his name. He was the masterclass, and he shot out with some incredible form early on. He was hard to stop, he was hard to beat, and he eventually took it all the way just by 3 points to take that top point scoring spot away from Braden Rudman. Alright, so there you go. There's 4 categories of awards, all going to All Flakes players or Corn Flaker players. I mean, that is, 3, 6, 9, 12 positions? No Guardians players whatsoever. What is going on, Guardians players? You got second. You lost the final, but you could not get any leaders in the stats. Amazing stuff. But don't worry, your time is coming, Guardians fans. You still got a few players in the team of the season. In fact, the team of the season is incredibly balanced. More than I thought. This was like a one-time draft. Who I thought was the best, and it ended up being incredibly even between the 3 sides. So let's take a look at that. The main spectacle, the number 1 thing we want to see, it is the team of the season. Alright, so let's get into it. 23 names, 15 starters, and of course, a full complement on the bench as well. Who makes my starting 15 for the team of the season? Remember, if you don't agree, if you think someone else should be there, if you think someone else I've missed out deserves to be in the side, do let me know in the comments. I've made a team to play in this team of the season versus the World 15 side, so late changes could be made, but here is my team of the season for season 1 of the Global Rugby Challenge. That is the subscriber series. Let's have a look now. Starting off, as we always do, in the front row. Where else would you start? That's where the game is won and lost. We start off with number 1 himself, the loose head prop, and that goes to a man from the Cornflakers, the season champions, and it is Chris Smith taking the number 1 jersey. Now, Chris had a stellar season, 5 times in the team of the week, 2 times as star player, and one of the best defenders throughout the competition as well. Didn't quite make it onto the top defender list, but don't be too worried about that because he wasn't far from the top. He was in the top 5 and unlucky to make the cut into the top 3. But easily one of the most inspirational and best players around the paddock as well throughout the season. Chris Smith takes the number 1 jersey. Alright, so outside him is going to be the hooker, of course, in the middle of the front row, and that position is going to, well, you guessed it, who else but Mike Hunt from the Guardians of the Crib, the first representative from the Guardians of the Crib as well, which is amazing because this team, like I said before, and you all know, made the grand final. How have they not featured? I just don't understand. Anyway, Mike Hunt gets into the middle of the front row. Here's the hooker for the team. 3 times in the team of the week. And really, you got to say, one of the most creative names in the side as well. Got some stunners. And Nadaleki Solomon, another one that just rolls off the tongue beautifully. But Mike Hunt, it's too easy to make fun of. I'll just leave that to your imagination. We're going outside Mike and we're going to the tight head prop. And really, when you look through this team and you look through all the teams throughout the season, there's only one name that goes alongside Mike Hunt, and that is Luke de Normanville. Also, from the Guardians of the Crib, I mean, they formed one of the best front row combinations throughout the season, and de Normanville, 4-time Team of the Week player as well. He had a great season, and he was an absolute rock in that front row for the Guardians, and his work around the field as well, one of the main reasons why they made it as far as they did. Alright, so we're moving on now into the second row, and we've got 2 locks to pick from. Now, this was very, very, very difficult to pick. We had an absolute plethora of amazing second rows to pick from, but you got to make the call, and my call is going for the number 4 spot to Joshua Hetherington. Now, the All Flakes man was in great form throughout, and really made a big difference to how the forward pack operated for the All Flakes as well. 5 times he was in the Team of the Week as well, and had a great season, stealing lineouts and making a junior nuisance of himself against the AI opposition and against his fellow subscriber sides as well. He was great around the field, but in the lineout was where he really excelled. Alongside him in the second row, his locking partner will be another one from the Guardians of the Crib, and that goes to Ivan Ferryland. So the man from the Guardians, 3-time Team of the Week player as well, and 1-time Star Player of the Week. Ivan Ferryland was amazing throughout the whole season, more than Joshua Hetherington around the field. Hetherington was a great line-out jumper. Ferryland complemented perfectly around the field as well. He ran very well. It was a great link-up player and a great clearer of the rucks. I think he did a lot of hard work and deserves to be in there as well for the Guardians. Alright, moving on from the second row, we'll look at the back row now. This was really difficult as well. There's a lot of really good players here in the second row and the back row, considering most of the teams were back heavy and there wasn't a huge amount of forwards to pick from. The locks in the back row was probably the hardest position to actually fill. The backs, I think, there was a lot of division between the best, the top echelon guys and the next tier down. So this was difficult. The back row was very, very hard. But on the blindside flank, we're going with Marshall Hanna. Spent a lot of time at 6 and a lot of time at 8 as well. But overall was one of the best players in the series. Had a great running game, speed to burn. And he showed it as well many, many times. Often was like another back in the back line for the All Flakes. 5 times in Team of the Week as well. No mean feat. This is only the best of the best in Team of the Season. Now alongside him is a name that just kept on appearing and kept on appearing as one of the best consistent performers throughout Season 1 of the Global Rugby Challenge. And that was Elliot Malpass. He was just amazing. He was just amazing. It was hard when he was in the team for the Flakers that he wasn't in Team of the Week. He was just that consistent and that well performed. Like I said, 4-time Team of the Week player. and he just was simply outstanding throughout for the Flakers, and a big part of their ball retention and why they played so well right up to the final. Number 8 goes to another man in red headgear, and that is Joshua Barrett. Now only a 2-time Team of the Week player, but I think his impact in the team, his versatility, allowing him to play a lot of positions in the forward pack, his role as a captain in a lot of matches as well. Barrett was a great player, but didn't often stand out, especially in a hotly contested back row spot. But for me, Barrett was just one of those men that has to be there. And when you mix them around, Hannah can play at 8, Barrett could go to 6, Malpass could play 6 and 7. You can mix these guys up quite nicely. And with the bench as well. Can't forget about the bench that we have sitting there waiting. Right, that's the forward pack done. Let's have a look at the back line, and we start things off with the scrum half. And this was really hard. Scrum half was one of the most difficult positions because we had so many, and it's such a dedicated position that you can't really chop and change like you can a centre to a wing, or a lock to a flanker, or a front rower to a number 8 kind of thing. You know, it's really an unsubstitutable position, and for that reason, there was a lot of players who got a couple, 1 or 2 Team of the Week performances, but there was one man who stood out above the rest, surprisingly as well. I wouldn't have picked him as my first choice at the start of the season. I would have said this guy is going to stun the world, but it is Sebastian Kyle from the All Flakes who takes the number 9 jumper, and 3-time Team of the Week player for the All Flakes. He was a great player, he was a great runner of the ball, and it was surprising to me. I think he performed most admirably of all the number 9s in the side, and let's be fair, there was a lot of number 9s throughout these 3 squads. Outside him is probably the key man of this whole team. That is Jonathan Craneen. Now, the accolades just go on forever for this man, but we'll keep it short for the Cornflakers fly half, top point scorer, 3-time Team of the Week, and star player for the Flakers. He scored the most points, he got all the tries as well early on. He was just unbelievable from a very early stage, and no question for me who fills that number 10 jumper. Alright, so we'll have a look at the 2 centres before we go on to the wingers. We'll start off with the inside centre, and this was tough. I was tossing up between a couple of players for the spot, and there's a lot of players who probably deserved this but didn't get the nod. I've gone with Heston Gardner. Tough call, tough pick, I know. From the Guardians to the crib as well. 1-time Team of the Week, 1-time star player, but what gave him the edge for me was the fact of the impact that he had on the semi-final. He was probably my player of the game. He just blitzed it. He won his team the game, I think, for the Guardians. He was outstanding and really put this team in pole position heading into the final, and that gave him the nod over other players I had penciled in. Cesaro was one who I was tossing up with, but the performances of Gardner throughout those semi-final match just gave him the nod. It just gave him that little tick above to put him into that number 12 jumper. Okay, so the partner in the centres alongside Heston Gardner is going to be Mitchell Ottley. We spoke of him earlier on. He was an outstanding player, running meters. He got all the stats, tries as well. Second on the try scorer leaderboard. The All Flakes man, 3-time Team of the Week player, 2-time star player as well. Second highest try scorer as we spoke of, and also topped the line breaks with 18 throughout the season for the All Flakes. He was revelation in the centre position after spending some time at number 8 and other positions. It wasn't until we started him in the 13 jumper that he really started to excel, and look where he ended up now. We see from other players it doesn't take a whole season to build these stats. They only need a good few matches in a row and they can build their way to stardom, and that's what we see from Mitchell Ottley, and that's what we've seen from one of our wingers as well. As we move into the outside man on the left side, it is the top try scorer for the season, Jim Aligino. Who else would you put there? I mean, spent a lot of time at number 8 as we spoke of earlier, and then comes storming into the left wing, scored a boatload of tries. I mean, a ton of tries, 10 to be exact. 10 tries, leading try scorer, one more than Mitchell Ottley, but 3-time Team of the Week player one-time star player, and of course, leading try scorer of the whole series out of everyone. He was number 1, Jimmy Gino on the left from the Cornflakers. Alright, right wing Timon. This was tough as well. There's a lot of good players who could have filled this role, but in the end, I've gone the man with the sweet, sweet name of Aiden Adeleke Solomon from the Guardians of the Crib. 2 times star player, and of course, 2-time Team of the Week player as well. And the 3rd top try scorer with 7 tries, as we seen earlier on with the top try scorer leaderboard. He was in 3rd position. He's a try machine, and when you look at this backline of Ali Gino, Otley, and Solomon, you have your 1, 2, 3 leading try scorers right there. So it's easy decision to make when you've got your big men scoring the tries. That's what they do. They're outside backs. They score tries. That leaves just one position left, and that is the number 15 jumper. And this one was a tough decision to make because defense, try-saving plays, covering kicks, positioning is not something you can really evaluate by stats. But I've gone with the fullback from the All Flakes. You may know him. His name is George Lamb. Now, he doesn't have the big accolades that the men in front of him have, but 4-time Team of the Week from a player who didn't see much action in the back line and spent all of it at the back. And the number 15 jumper, you got to give this guy credit. He obviously stood out when he got his chance at the back in number 15 jumper. George Lamb from the All Flakes, he's your number 15. And that rounds out our top 15. You should have seen them rolling on onto your screen as we're announcing them out. And that is your top 15, starting 15 for the big match that they're going to be playing against the World 15. Do you agree with that team? Do you disagree? Who deserves to be there instead of someone else? Let me know what you think. I will consider all comments anyone makes and what their argument is as to why someone deserves to be there more than anyone else. But for now, that is the starting 15 for the team of the season. And they matched against this selected World 15 side. Who will be in that? You have to wait and see until the match comes out, which will be very, very soon indeed. So, I mentioned earlier, I also made a substitutes bench. So let's have a quick look at that. We'll rifle through the names in there and why they are there. Of course, made up as a proper bench should be. We've got a hooker, a couple of props, second row, back row, scrum half, fly half, and an outside back in there. So let's start things off with the number 16. This is going to be Maximus Wilder from the Guardians of the Crib, 4-time Team of the Week player, and often filled that front row alongside Mike Hunt and Luke de Normanville. Very formidable front row as well. Another man also in there from the Guardians of the Crib is Owen Fagan, 3-time Team of the Week player, and again, another one who filled that very good front row. 4 very good players in the front row of the Guardians of the Crib. You can't argue. Fagan's in there. His 3 Team of the Week efforts as well. Not too bad from a player who couldn't push out his teammate in the front row. The other reserve prop is going to Steve Gallux. Spent a lot of time in Team of the Week, and for the Flakers, he spent a lot of time in the front row as well. He's a 3-time Team of the Week player alongside his partners, Fagan and Wilder. They are the front row reserves. For the second row reserves, and a man who I think is very unlucky not to be in the starting 15, that is Liam Robinson from the All Flakes as well. 4-time Team of the Week player and could have easily fitted in there in a very, very hotly contested second row spot. Into the back row, Brett Hartley. Now a man that can cover forward, front row positions, second row positions, and back row positions as well. Scored some blinding tries. A man who's not the fastest in the world, but puts 150% effort into everything he did for his team, the All Flakes. He was a great player and often a great link between the forwards and the backs. He was free to run and also did that hard work up front, the big tall unit that he is. Alright, so the back reserves now, scrum half reserve will be Ollie Poulter from the Cornflakers, 2-time Team of the Week player as well. Poulter had a great start to the season, died off a little bit towards the end, but overall had a very, very good year with the Cornflakers. So 2 to go, and my fly half reserve is someone who's very versatile from the Guardians of the Crib as well. Can play 10, 12, if he needs to be a fullback as well, he can cover that. It is Lou Jones, and he featured in the Team of the Week 3 times throughout the season. and I think is a very good cover player to have in your backline. Also, like number 23, the final man in the reserves, Douglas Eddington from the Flakers, 3 times Team of the Week player and the 3rd top point scorer. Unlucky not to be in the starting 15, but when you look at the side, it's hard to fit another player. And he was a goal kicker as well, which, you know, when you got Craneen in there already, don't really need another goal kicker off the bench. Lou Jones, a good goal kicker. Eddington, also a good goal kicker. Gives you options coming off the bench if required for this team. And that is it. That is the 23 names for the team of the season. What do you think of the team? Do you like it? Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments as well. My voice is still not 100%. It's about to give up on me. So we'll wrap this video up here. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Hope you've enjoyed more action from the subscribers series as well. Thank you all for your support throughout the year. Thank you to everyone involved as well. And I will see you for our last episode of the series of Season 1 at least. There will be the team of the season up against the selected World 15. So I hope to see you all there for that one. Thank you again, everyone, for being involved and for supporting the series. And I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you all for the match before we kick into Season 2, which will be coming up very, very soon as well. So thank you again. And I'll see you all next time. Until then, take care.